something that we have to consider is this: you don't always have to be in a positive mood to always manifest. You know what I mean? That I think that's something that we have to talk about, because in a lot of the self-development, motivational, law of attraction, spiritual stuff, we tend to emphasize a lot about being positive, about being optimistic. While that is all good, but the fact is you have to still be aware that it is okay to feel negative emotions. It's part of the process, and it's part of you growing, and it's part of you creating, because you have that duality. You have the negative aspect and you have the positive aspect. That's right, everybody. Happy New Year. So I want you guys to understand that it is okay to feel, keyword, feel, notice the emotion, but don't get attached to the emotion. And you can do that with positive thoughts as well. You got to look at them and I say, like, that's an interesting thought. Okay? That's an interesting thought. See, when you have that non-attachment to both the positive and the negative, you become in that flow state. Now, nothing can hold you, nothing owns you, and then everything comes into your life now. It's all right. There is no attachment. There is no disappointment. All of that stuff comes from our inability to see what the true nature of reality and our beings are. Okay? It's the inability. And I'm going to tell you about that, because we have a mind, and this mind is a conscious mind, and it's our default mind. This mind will do the opposite. This mind likes to feed you with fear, with regret, with disappointment, because that mind was developed for the environment, the physical three-dimensional environment. It wasn't developed for your true being. True being and the mind is two different things. You know what I mean? So what you want to understand is, yes, I can feel negative emotions, and it won't. I don't have to start over. This is another misconception people get when they're creating their life. They try to be this positive and this optimistic person, but it doesn't work, because they're not accepting their negative emotions. So what happens is, when they try to create something and they get into this funk, it gets them more into a funk, because now they think, oh my goodness, man, I had these couple of days where everything was going positive and everything's going good. Now I have these negative. I have to start over my whole process to create or manifest. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. This is how the universe works, okay? You are a self-creating being. So it's your world, it's your movie. Think about movies. Movies has pause, play, rewind, right? We can go back, forward, stop. Same thing when you're going to create your life. You have the ability to press pause. This is what happens when you go into negative emotions. Whenever you get into this negative funk or these negative emotions, it's a pause. The universe literally pauses. And then when you get back into a positive funk, it starts back up from where you left off. So don't get the misconception that, damn, I lost all the positive momentum, I have to start over. No, it doesn't work like that. So that should give you great results. Say, okay, man. So it's cool to feel negative. Yes. Look emotions. Emotions, all they're doing, they're just directions, and they're pointing you, and they're giving you awareness. They're fighting for your attention and awareness. They want to tell you something. What they want to tell you is, hey, I'm a human being. Number one, hey, I'm going in the direction I don't want to go. Hey, I'm going in the direction I do want to go. Hey, I'm not in the present moment. That's all they're telling you. Our ego, though, adopts this mindset and takes identity with the emotions, which messes you up. Look, the universe don't want you to chase it. The universe is already here for you. There's nothing to chase. When we chase something, we are repelling the attraction of it. The universe is here for you now, for you to get what you want. Right? Someone says, I've never been in such a negative state in my life. I just regret something I've done. I almost passed, okay? So when it comes to these things, guys, regret and negative, you have to let them go. They're past now. We're in this moment. What we have right now will never come back. Even your thoughts about the past is in this moment. So it's not even a past. It's just a thought, or what we call a memory of this moment that your brain can't catches, that cannot catch. So that's very imperative to understand, all right? The next component about this stuff is, think about this. In our world, no one talks about normality. Making normality normal. What do I mean by that? We have actually been conditioned backwards, man. And I discovered this about the mind, and this goes into your brain, how your subconscious works. And if you are watching this right now, listening to this is going to profoundly change your life, because I'm going to teach you something that if you do, you can do this right now. This will change the whole course of your life. It will create the neuroplasticity, or what we call the synaptic pruning in your brain, that will adopt new realities. Here it is. You have to make the things you want or desire normal. Normal means you have to have the mindset that it is okay for me to have this, and this is what I'm supposed to be getting or having. It's normal for me to have the life I desire, the partner I desire, the money I desire, the success, the health, the whatever, the lottery, the jackpot. It's normal. This gets overlooked so many times, man. So many times. No one, I mean, if you want to know the real secret, that's the real secret right there. Adopt normality. Check this out. You're doing it right now, but you're doing it the opposite. Some of you are in a state of normality, but in the wrong normality. You're in a state like it's normal to struggle. It's normal not to make enough money. It's normal to not be in a healthy relationship. Right now. Yeah. That's what your subconscious mind is believing. That's your what we call your reality loop, or your map of reality. Think about it. How many of you get up every day, go to work, you expect bad stuff? It's normal. Oh man, it's normal my paycheck short. Oh, it's normal for me to struggle. It's normal. You don't even think about it. You just accept it. You know why you accept it? Because your subconscious has already proven it to you as reality. And then what happens is, when you have this ego mind that sees proof, it creates validation. It creates this loop now, that you're in this ever-ending loop that you can't even get out of, because you're seeing the proof. So in your mind is, damn, this must be real. But if you only just flip it and think it's normal. And this is what look, how do I know this stuff works? Because I do it myself. Guys, with this lottery thing, man, I win a lot. And the thing is, I don't post a lot of my wins here, because I used to post them a lot. But people say, oh man, this guy's showing off. So I kind of stopped doing it. But every now and then I get a nudge. I say, okay, I post this just to inspire and motivate people. But the fact is, I got my mind pruned to instant state that it's normal for me to have abundance. It's normal for me to be at the lottery office every couple weeks to claim a prize. And that's been happening for the whole year. It's normal. I've convinced my subconscious mind that. So what your subconscious mind does? It always puts me in the right place at the right time. This is so trippy, and people don't understand. Listen, I literally get a dream. They tell me which store to go. Hey man, you need to buy this scratch off. Go to. All these things are happening in my life, and now I understand that. Why is this happening, man? Because I have convinced my subconscious that winning, creating money in abundance is normal for me. And why does this work? It works because in the subconscious, it has infinite capacity to create the reality. Keep that in mind. Infinite. In the conscious mind, it doesn't have infinite. It has finite. So this can never work when you're trying to use your logical mind, because you're always going to be met with roadblocks. Blocks to tell you it cannot be done. And the beauty of this use of the subconscious is it's irrational and it's illogical. That means it's not going to question my normality. It's going to accept it, because it's going to watch. Here's how it's going to be programmed. It's going to watch how I think and how I'm feeling. There goes his emotions. How I feel will tell my subconscious, oh, it's normal for this guy to keep winning the lottery. Or it's normal for this guy to have abundance. It's normal for this guy to... Because my emotions are in a state of the flow state. What's the flow state? My emotions aren't high or low. They're just neutral. Everything I do is neutral. That neutrality now tells my subconscious mind, He's not threatened. He's not in panic. He's not fear. He is in what? He is in the present moment. This is all happening now for him. And if you want to get into the present moment, people say, man, Mark, man, how do I tap into the present moment? By developing the observational quality of your thoughts that come in. By not being attached to either the positive or the negative. Look, the thing about the ego, guys, it loves this thing and is very detrimental to your success to create what you want. We have to get out of the instant gratification. The ego loves the instant gratification. It says, oh, I did this. I'm entitled to this. This has to happen. It's about time. Da 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 da. And if you get into that, you become attached. We might talk about this. You become attached to the self that's not real. By the way, I've said this before. I mean, because I constantly get new individuals watching, new people becoming aware, new people waking up every day. So I'll say it again so you can understand. In the brain, in your brain, they cannot find any part in the neurons, synaptics parts, the axons, every part of the regions of your brain where it houses yourself, your identity. All they find is separate components of this emotion. But there's nowhere in your brain that says, I, me, you, whatever, I, me. It doesn't exist. Was derived, it was conjuncted, it was created, it was illusionized by your ego. And that's the thing. When you have self-gratification, it's going to be detrimental. Because now you're going to expect, and when you live in a matrix world, that's always up and down, and then your subconscious is in a faulty world, and see, that's a recipe for what? Disaster. So that's something I thought, I said, man, if I could reach more people and show them that all they have to do is really just change your mindset, because they're doing it every day right now. They just have to just reverse engineer. And how do I begin to normalize my success? What am I doing right now? I'm speaking vocally out loud. That's the first step. Talk to yourselves. Tell yourself it's normal. But you have to do it with a question. Why is it normal for me to be so successful? Why is it normal for me to win hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in the lottery? Why is it normal for me to always find the perfect partner? Why is it normal for me to have more than enough money I desire to live the life? Why is it normal for me to have thousands of dollars in my bank account? Why is it normal for me to feel so healthy and strong? Why is it normal for me to be so smart and talented? Why is it normal for me to be so confident? I mean, you got to get this, man. If you don't get this, you're not going to work. It's not going to show up until you change for it to show up. And making it normal will show up. And if you speak it out loud, it goes two places. First one that's going to catch it is the logical mind. It's going to say, what is this question? That's what you need. That's the distraction. Because at the simultaneous moment that conscious mind catches that question, the subconscious is already working on the answer. Because the conscious mind doesn't have time to tell the subconscious, hey man, I don't understand. Your conscious mind is focusing on, man, why is this guy asking this question, man? How am I going to make this normal? Because that's the first thing he wants to do. He wants to try to prove to you and help you. But remember, it's limited. So while it's being occupied, that goes right to the subconscious. And subconscious looks up and says, all right, there's no resistance here, so this comes straight to me. So let me go ahead and prove this as a reality. The thing you got to know about the subconscious, it's the prover mind. It always wants to prove things to you as an experience based on the questions you ask out loud. You don't want to ask questions in the head, because guess what? Your head game, your head mind, or your head talk is already corrupted. It's corrupted by the ego. That's the voice that always talks to you, right? I mean, most of the negative thoughts, they come in your head, and they hijack your voice. So you think it's you. It's not you. It's just the way your voice has to identify these thoughts with you to make you think it's you. That's another trickery of your brain, of your mind. You think all these thoughts you get, first of all, You don't create thoughts, people. You receive thoughts. The only thing that you create is your desire or your what we call your purpose. The thing you truly want to create, whatever you want, your passion and purpose, that's there. That's going to come in. But every other thought you get, positive, negative, they are receiving from outside the field. And what happens is for your brain and your mind to identify, for you to identify with the thought, it has to hijack your voice. That's why the voice sounds in your head like it's you. It's not you. It's just a way that the things work to create so that you can become aware of the thought, and you can either make what? Steps to protect yourself. That's why thoughts come in. Like a thought coming, oh my goodness, this is going to happen. It's danger. See, when it's your voice, you're going to pay attention. So that's what you got to understand. You and I, we do not live in a physical compressed universe. This universe is made of nothing but empty space and transparent energy, which you are. These energies, they have quantified properties. That means they are below the conscious awareness of your eyes and senses. That's why we use instruments. They are the quantum world. Your cells, your molecules, you break them down, they become the electrons, the protons, neutrons, which are 99% empty space. Actually, to get even more technical to you, that you and I, and everyone else in this world is only experiencing 4% of true nature of the universe, of reality. 95% of everything else you cannot see, you cannot touch. That literally means, or at this very moment, true reality, things, beings, energy, frequencies, new feelings, new emotions, these things you can never imagine, unimaginable senses are passing through you every single moment, but you cannot aware. Remember this, what you cannot perceive and you cannot be aware of, you cannot receive. Point blank. We know this through quantum physics. We understand there's different forces operating. We have dark matter, dark energy. We understand that a particle can be in two places at one time, which creates the parallel universe. We understand that the Big Bang wasn't the beginning of our universe. It was actually created through black holes. Now they're saying black holes create singularities, which would happen as a bang, bubble universe on top of bubble universe. So much information, so much stuff that people aren't even aware of. And if they only understood or overstood this knowledge and awareness, they could use this information and change their lives. Everything that you see is an illusion. Let me repeat that. It's a clever illusion. Everything from touching, smelling, tasting, seeing colors, none of that exists. It's the brain's way of making sense of a world in which it was placed. It did its best job to create a comfort survival mechanism for you. But it doesn't state the fact that the true being of your higher self that exists inside in the dimensions of your consciousness or your awareness still resides and flows in your body. It flows on the other part of your brain. It comes to intuition and it comes to higher self knowing. And these are things that we're lost. Our imagination, that's the most fundamental and most powerful force one can use. But we have all been programmed in default to use these things the opposite, which hurts our progress and our ability to be successful. But I go back again because I have to say this because it's so important. Once you discover how simple this is, by adopting a mindset that it is normal for me to have everything I want or desire, that's when the universe rushes in to help you. Because now you're in flow and you accept that you are part of this field. Most people, they don't accept they are a part, not even most, majority, maybe 99% of individuals intellectually, they cannot accept that everything affects everything, that they're connected to every single thing and they're part of the whole. That's why, guys, when you hear the scientists and people talk about the simulation theory and they talk about the holographic universe, this is actually factual now. A few years ago, we would joke and laugh and say, what the hell? What is it, Mark? What are we with hologram? It's holographic in the term of this. If you have a hologram, a piece of the hologram will contain the entire hologram. If they take a piece of your DNA and encode it, they will see every information about the entire universe. That means every part of you is every part of the entire multiverse universe in this dimension. That's the thing people don't understand. And then few months ago, or a month ago, now they discovered quantum entanglement. Some scientists won the Nobel Prize. I don't know if you know that. They won the Nobel Prize to show that the universe is not even local. It's not even here. It's being broadcast. In other words, it's coming from somewhere else. That literally means like an avatar, like you're a holographic projecting it. Some sort of consciousness, some sort of being higher, whatever, is projecting every single thing in this universe. It's non-local. It's no distance. It's not physically here that you've been your mind may show you, or your ego may try to put forth to you. And that's the thing. And then we go into the thing, guys, is once you discover this stuff, right? And then you start to tune into this dimension, this other dimension that's right in front of us now. That's where you encounter what people experience a lot, and they call that the synchronicities, these numbers. Now that's the universe, that's the higher self. Guys, now they're talking to you now. They're showing you the ones, the twos, the threes, the fours, the fives, the six, the sevens, eights, nines. Now they're saying, all right, good. This girl got it now. Let's put them on the map now. Let's show them how to do this stuff. Let's go there. And then once you move some synchronicities now, the next level up is now your intuition becomes like very heightened. You start to sense and feel things, and they start to happen like that. And the next level up now, your dreams now. That's the next level up, higher consciousness. Those dreams now start to become so vivid. Not only they become vivid, but they start coming out to be true. You dream something, a few days later it happens. A few months later it happens. And you're like, wow, what's happening here? And no one can talk. You don't have nobody to talk to about this. And you tell them, they think you're a quack. They're like, what's going on? But you're experiencing it yourself. Because this is when you're entering the fifth dimension of consciousness. This is now you're tuning into your true self. And then when you truly lock into that higher self, man, then it becomes even more trippy now. Now you're going to be led. You're going to just know stuff. You're going to start to channel information. You're going to get downloads now. Things you're going to be saying, and you just start speaking. You don't even know aware what you're speaking and you're saying. And it's just a different reality. And it's all happening right now to every single human being. That becomes enlightened to this stuff, right? If you tap in the area, you can give many likes, right? So the thing is, guys, you have to start to look at things every single day as normal for you. Change the vibration, change the frequency, change your reality. That's as simple as it is. It's a simple game. And the thing is, like, I thought about this the other day, a couple months ago, and I'm thinking to myself, I said, man, if somebody would just get on here, or get on, that's why I use my platform, I just teach people and show them that, listen, man, all you have to do is just convince yourself it's normal, even if you can't see it. You know, the evidence is not there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean the absence of evidence, right? It's there, but you can't see it because your senses haven't adjusted to something that comes in. Let me show you something. Remember I talked about it, I said you only can see 4% of reality. 95, 96 is hidden from you. Where do you think intuition, psychic, dreams, desires, goals, all your things, where do you think they come from? They come from that hidden world that you aren't aware of. The only time you're aware of them is when they come into this reality or this dimension where your senses are. But every single thing exists in the non-physical, the spiritual. That's the blueprint. Then it gets materialized into the three-dimensional. So that literally means that when you start to convince your mind, it's already been created in the non-physical. You just have to keep it going so it can show up in the physical. And that's all it is. I mean, I'm trying to think of what else I could say to make it very simple, but I mean, if you think about it, but some people may say, well, that's why I love using the science and spirituality to break things down, to put them together, to show people that their logical mind can understand it, and their higher mind now can really become accustomed to it. Because this can take a lot of doubt out, and this can eliminate a lot of the trolls or the naysayers that says, well, man, you talk a lot of stuff, bro, but where's the science? And when you hit them with the science and the research and all that stuff, they have to say, damn, They run. They have to run because they can't refute it. Now, let me show you. Okay, let's use the science of the non-physical. So we know that a material thing, so we have Newtonian physics, and then we have the quantum world, right? So we have the quantum world, and then we have the Newtonian physics, is what we see every day. And in the quantum world is the material we call matter or material. All matter is just vibratory forces of repulsion by particles. The way these particles vibrate, they create to look like physical stuff. So actually they are spiritual, non-physical. And the force that creates or vibrates, we don't know that for, we just know it's a repulsive force. But what happens, it comes into our reality through our eyes, our brains. The retina scans it, picks it up, adds color to it, texture to it, feel to it, solidity to it, and we see it. That's correct. Someone says we are receivers. Exactly. But the fact is that very thing that you've been creating or manifesting has already been created, but it was unaware of your senses to pick it up. It was in another dimension, but a dimension that you and I can't see. Now, if we were advanced and we could see more of reality, let's see if we could see maybe 90, let's see if we could see 5%, 6%. Maybe you can pick it up. Maybe you can actually see the non-physical in different wavelength. And then you can see your desires being made in front of you. You can see the actual quantum particles forming and foaming in that field, and then it starts to materialize. You could actually see the whole process, and then she pops in. But you and I were incapable of that because our brains don't have those senses. But that is what's literally happening right now. It's quantifying, it's foaming, it's creating, it's materializing, and then what happens is it just gets transferred, bloop, in the blink of an eye into your reality. It's in your DNA. That's correct. Someone says in your DNA. Yes, someone's comment says, our human beings' thoughts are actually coming from the universal consciousness. Everything comes from the universal consciousness. You don't create thoughts, you receive every single thought you have. Every single thought you get is you're a receiver of these thoughts. And to get you into the making things normal and the flow state, you have to become the person or who you truly are, which is an observer. You cannot take a positive thought personally, and you cannot take a negative thought personally. You just have to accept these just as is, and that will create a peace for you. So that means when a positive thought comes in, yeah, I'm going to ride with it, but I'm not going to get overly high. When a negative thought comes in, okay, it's a negative goes. You see, you don't create any attachment. You see, what the attachment is what creates the problem here, man. And look, I'm not telling you it's like doopsie daisy easy to do, but once you get into the habit of it, it will become that. It may take months, it may take years to develop that thing, but you become a master, you become a professional at this stuff, and then you really become a conscious creator. Then you don't take anything personal. Then you understand that, oh man, I'm just here for the ride. I'm this high super being. I'm in this bunch of flesh here, in this guy named Mark. I chose this guy here, so I'm just gonna sit in his head and just watch the show, and I'm gonna help him because that's what we agreed to. I'm gonna enjoy the ride. That's me, my higher self. Da 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 da. And when this guy body decays and he goes away, I'm gonna pop back out. I'm gonna go back into the universal consciousness, and I'm gonna come back again. Maybe 20, 30. I think it takes about 20 to 50 years for a soul to decide to reincarnate or come back into this universe. So the next 20, 50 years, I don't know where I'm going to go. Maybe I go to a parallel universe, or maybe I just chill out in the universal energy of consciousness, watch everything. Then I come back into another human being or another body, another universe, another earth, another being. Who knows? But that's the cycle, people. That's how it goes for all of you. So if the sooner you get notice that, the sooner you get that's what you want to get attached to. If you're going to get attached to anything, get attached to your true self, your authentic self. And once you become attached to that thing, then you understand, man, this is just a ride, man. Oh, that pain I'm feeling? Oh, man, that's the body feeling that. I get it, though. It's not me. That's the body, and that's me. The body's different. I'm just watching. I'm not taking it. I think that makes life a lot easier, right? I mean, think about that. If nothing is going to irk me or nothing's going to get me emotionally to wind up, I think I'm in a good spot, right? Don't you think so? Less stress, more enjoyment, more being in the moment. You get a lot of things out. But, you know, the issue with that is that ego will try to corrupt that. Will let you. The ego will constantly try to bring you back in and say, no, 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 this is you, this is you. And I'm saying, no, 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 that's not me. And then the ego says, no, man, look, we're feeling this. So you have to be smart, and understand that the brain in you, the power that's powering this body is your consciousness. And when the body shuts down, because it will at one point, we're all going to go. We're not, at one point, 100, 200 years, none of us will be here again. At one point, this will go, but the conscious awareness, never can go. It's just going to go back out. It's going to come back in. And then Mark will come back. John will come back. Phil will come back. Sarah will come back. 20, 30, 50 years, maybe in another part of the earth. You'll probably be gone already. Family, whatever. Maybe you go to another parallel world. Or maybe you go back into the universe. Maybe you go into a different level of awareness, different level of existence that is unimaginable to the human mind. There is just so much that will boggle the mind that's out there that we just can't imagine right now. All right? What do I think about dreams? So here's my take on what dreams are. Whenever we dream, this is what I believe, and this is what I'm seeing and noticing when it comes to physics and neuroscience, parapsychology, and everything. What I'm seeing now is that when we actually dream, we actually go into parallel universes or different realities. Actually, when we dream ourselves in a dream, that's just our parallel version experiencing another world. And the reason I say that, because here's an interesting fact that I discovered and I found out, that whenever we dream and we see people that we aren't familiar with, it's impossible that they are from this earth. Let me tell you why. Because the subconscious mind can only dream people it has seen before. If there's someone in your dream you've never seen before, more likely you're in a parallel world. Your subconscious can only bring people it has encountered or seen before. Facts. Study that. So that's the point that points me to the dreams. And then when you're in a dream, your body systems react the same as if you're in a real world. So that tells me that the real world and the imagination world, the mind cannot see the difference. So that's a big tip-off to let me know that, wait a minute, man. If my mind and my body reacts the same as a dream, what if this is just a dream, but just a deeper dream state? And then when I dream, I'm in another parallel world. So all those things are just on the forefront of things that they're experimenting, they're trying to figure out. But it's a fascinating theory and a fascinating subject. Right? It's very, very powerful. You are very powerful, and most people have no idea the power they have, but they're using it the wrong way because it doesn't. What does DNA stand for? Deoxynucleic acid. DNA. Deoxynucleic acid. That's what DNA stands for. Then you have RNA. DNA and RNA. RNA recopies the DNA, but DNA is basically the informational code of every information. Now let me talk about that, because I have to go real soon here. But I want to break you down and teach you something about your body. And yeah, I'll go to sleep paralysis before I get off here. But let me show you something about DNA. Now, DNA at its core is made up of what's called qubits. Qubits are what we would consider pixels. I want to make it simple for you to understand. So researchers and scientists now discover that everything in the universe is information. It's like a computer code. Actually, there's a physicist that discovered that there's like ones and zeros like in the universe as a binary code. It's interesting. So it's kind of like, so we're in like a matrix, a computer code. So your DNA is made of qubits. The entire universe is qubits. The entire body, your body is made up of information. You are like a computer-coded pixel of information. And in the DNA, that's what I said before, it has the entire information of the entire universe. Think about that. That means you have knowledge, understanding, insight on things that you haven't even tapped into yet. And you're still trying to discover that, right? Now, let's talk about sleep paralysis. So sleep paralysis is what happens when what's normally supposed to happen is when you go to sleep, your conscious mind shuts off, and then your subconscious comes in to repair cells, to get out information it doesn't seem necessary, to program for the next day, whatever you want to call it. So what happens is, in sleep paralysis, the conscious mind gets trapped in the dream. And what happens is, when the conscious mind is trapped in the dream, you're aware of that. You're not supposed to be aware. And then when you're aware of it, you're trying to move your arms and hands. What people don't understand is, every time you go to sleep, the body secretes a hormone or a chemical that actually paralyzes you. And then when you wake up, it takes the chemical back. So what happens is, when you're trapped in a sleep, that's the reason you feel you can't move, because your body is sleeping. It's in the what we call paralysis state. And the reason the body does that, it wants to protect you from acting out your dreams. From, like, if you're running off a hill, it doesn't want you to run off the bed. Or for sleepwalkers, people can walk out, jump off their building. But of course, as human beings, there's a lot of mutations and things goes wrong where people sleepwalk when they're not supposed to. And just like sleep paralysis, you're not supposed to wake up in it, but it happens. But that's the whole point of it. So if you have sleep paralysis and you feel like a spirit is holding you down, it's not that's happening. It's just your body and the mind. Now what happens is, when you're held down and you can't move your hands, then the mind now starts to hallucinate, because now you get into panic mode, and then the subconscious mind gets up and says, what's going on? And that's where people see images of a ghost or something. It's the mind trying to make sense that I can't get up. They're creating phantom images. So that's what sleep paralysis. There's nothing crazy. There's no ghost holding you down or anything of that. Most people experience sleep paralysis at some point in life. Some people experience it a lot. I've experienced sleep paralysis a total of maybe 5-6 times in my life. But I've met individuals that experience it more times. So it just depends, right? Mark, all my lottery numbers came out in another game. What does that mean? It means that you have the formula. You're on the right path. Take those same numbers, play them again. First tip is, when you're going to do the lottery numbers, play them in every game. Just don't play them in one game. Play them in the Mega, the Powerball, the Fantasy. If you got 5 or 6 numbers, play all across the board. Remember that, right? But that's a good sign that you're on the right path, my friend. So, understand these guys, and I will see you guys again. I'll catch you again another live. Talk to you soon.